And happy Thursday, October 5th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new month edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, aka Conscious Kurt in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction, but fuck it, he's going to give you one anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is tag team partner, none other than the adventurer himself, Jonathan Randall. And you can follow our podcast, The Clash of Champions, on our social media sites on Instagram at thechamps.clash and Twitter at thechampsclash. Man, we're in October already, Kurt. Fall is in the air. It's getting crisper. The weather is getting cooler. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great time of year, bro. It's already starting to change over here. Like it's definitely fall in Atlanta. And I have to say Atlanta's by far the best place I've ever experienced fall. Hands down.
Ooh, okay. Because I mean, you get to see the change of the autumn color leaves. I'm quite sure you're seeing a lot of color in your area, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely, bro. Fall is mad sexy out here. Like, bro, fall is like Nikita Leone sexy. That's how sexy fall is out in Atlanta.
But I'll tell you what else is sexy, man. All these stories that are these stories in the wrestling world, and that's what me and Kurt are here for, to give you that news, that what you need, and sexy news is what we like to hear, man.
It's what you want. It's what you want. It's what you want. It's what you need. What you need. What you need. It's what you need. What you need. What you need. So let's get into some AEW news. As this past Sunday at AEW's Wrestle Dream pay-per-view from Seattle, we saw the AEW debut of the rated R superstar Adam Copeland.
Yeah, known as Edge, but in AEW, he is known as Adam Copeland. It is kind of weird, man. It's a bit weird. I mean, stuff like this happens. A little bit of copyright issues. If a wrestler goes to a different company, you can't have the same name. But it's weird. But you got to remember, he has a definite reason why he did what he did.
Yes, we will get into that reason in a few minutes. But yes, Edge did make his debut as he saved Sting and Darby Allin from a beating by Chrstian Cage, his old time buddy from back in the day, as well as Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. Edge came out and interrupted the beating, and as Edge came into the ring, Christian ran away. No freaking surprise. And then Edge
Uh,
speared Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, and then ended the show raising the hands of both Darby Allin and Sting.
wow. But just the man, him coming to the ring, just the pop that he got, the surprise. It was surprising. We had a feeling that it was going to happen, but to me, honestly, I just kind of, like, wow, it really did happen. You know what I mean? And I kind of knew, like, it may happen, but when it really happened, when it really, really happened, I was like, wow, it happened. He actually with AEW, and according to him, in a quote, star quote, so he pretty much reveals, why WWE, didn't want to, extend his contract, and it pretty much reveals why he didn't. They didn't want him to do more than 10 matches a year. So he pretty much says that I was contracted for 10 matches a year. I was offered to do more, but to their point, I wouldn't feel quite as special, which I understood too. It just felt like neither one of us had any ideas, and that's never been the case before. So when you look at that, and I look at my best friend over there having the time of his life, at a certain point, once I thought, you know what, I still have a window here. Where can I do this? I don't feel like I'm maximizing that. And I think that was really what it boiled down to. End quote. It was on an interview with CBS Sports that he had.
Yeah, I read that earlier today, and I also read that long post he put out the other night, basically talking
Oh
about like
yeah, on
how
Twitter. Mm.
like how he had like no hard feelings towards WWE, but it just basically came down to the point where like the both of them just outgrew each other, and basically
Mhm.
his like final decision came down to like a conversation he had with his daughters, and his oldest daughter Lyric told him go have fun with Uncle Jay, referring to Chrstian. And
Right.
here we are.
Right. Just about being used more. He just felt that to him, he just felt like he's limited in WWE. He's just like, look, like I'm how many matches is 10 a year? Like I could do more. You know what I mean? It's just I could do more. And if you guys are not going to allow me to do that, look, I'll just take my talents somewhere else. I have no hard feelings, but look, I feel like I could do more, and you guys are not letting me do more.
And I don't think it was just that per se. I just kind of think of like the last like year and a half he had there before he left. And admittedly, the stuff he was doing was not as interesting. I'm not saying it was bad for the whole Judgment Day feud to go as long as it did. And then, like, after that, he wasn't really doing much either. He had that one match on SmackDown several months ago with Sheamus that was great. But be real, since like 2021, it hasn't really been as, special with him.
No, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I thought when they turned him heel, I was like, oh, look, this is new and fresh. I haven't seen him heel in a long time. I was like, cool. But I think it started off okay. It started off good. And then it just kind of like just went downhill to the point where I was like, I'm not really taking this whole Judgment thing story like seriously. It's better now. But in the middle of it, it was just like, it was kind of like fading. Like when he got kicked out, we were both kind of like, well, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't understand it. And it just didn't have that spark. It didn't seem interesting anymore after that. But it gotten better now. But, like I said, like we could both agree that 2021 was like that last best year that Edge had, that run that he had with the WWE.
Yeah, from winning the Royal Rumble, main eventing WrestleMania, even though he didn't win. He had that great match with Roman at Money in the Bank. He had that trilogy with Rollins. So yeah, 2021 was mad popping, but then 2022 and 2023, it just wasn't the same. But I will say this much, even though those 2 years weren't as strong, everybody from Judgment Day benefited, and you have to give a lot of credit to Edge for that. From Rhea
Yes.
Ripley, look at
Yes.
Rhea Ripley
Yes.
now, and look at Damian Priest now compared to
Hmm.
where they were before Judgment Day started. Look at them now.
Yeah. And look, and sorry to change the subject. I know like Dominic doesn't have no part of it, but like I'm really impressed at how much Dominic has changed over like how long he's been with them, like 3 years, right? It's been 3 years.
Dominic has been on the main roster for 3 years. He's been in Judgment Day for 1 year. He joined Judgment Day right after
Yeah,
the Clash of the Castle show, and the person he turned
yeah.
on was Edge. Yeah, before he attacked his dad, he attacked Edge first.
But I'm just just overall in general, I'm just kind of like just that the development, a lot of change for him within those 3 years. So that's you know big props to him for that, though. But that's a different story. But yeah, um, with Edge, the thing that bothers me now is that like now you have fans are kind of like all upset, all up in an uproar because he's with an AEW now, which is stupid. And it goes to show you that how toxic our fan base is. I'm not like that, thank God, but majority of wrestling fans are pretty toxic. They'll complain, and it's just, dude, it's not that serious. At the end of the day, it's still professional wrestling, dude. Like he has a reason why he did what he did. Don't take it. Don't be butthurt and don't take that personal.
Yeah, I see like pictures of like fans like throwing their Edge like action figures in the trash and saying, "Edge, you're dead to me." It's like, yo, calm the fuck down. It's not that deep, man. Just because he went to a different company, that doesn't mean you have to hate the dude or like hold some kind of grudge. Some fans just literally look for shit to be mad about, and that shit is mad whack. It's just a shitty ass way to live. Always like trying to find the negatives and shit.
All right.
Miserable ass people, punk ass bitches.
They're just bored. But yeah,
Wanna be Vatos Locos.
you haven't even watched the movie yet. Watch the movie first, please.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, the same thing kind of happened with Jade Cargill, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But yeah, like these fans need to chill out, bro. It's like you can be a fan of WWE, but you could kind of be bummed out that Edge left, but you don't have to take it so damn personal. Like Edge was not thinking about you when he signed his AEW contract, saying, "Oh, I can't wait for this said fan to be pissed off and lose his mind over this." Ooh yes, ooh yes, ooh yes. Like, bro, stop taking it so damn personal.
There's no need.
I knew something was up. I knew something was up. Like last Friday on SmackDown when they took Edge's like face from the opening like video, and I was even hearing like a month ago that him and WWE probably weren't gonna like reach a new deal, and that people higher up in WWE like knew that he was AEW bound. So I kind of got that vibe it was gonna happen. And then when I heard they were making the Chrstian and Darby Allin match the main event for the pay per view, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna show up. He's gonna show up for sure.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point.
But I will admit, it is weird seeing him in AEW. It is definitely different to say the least.
Of course. I mean, it's always weird when we see somebody who's been with a company for, oh my God, like forever, and then they jump ship and go to the other company. We've seen this before, 25, 30 years ago, between WWE and WCW. It was weird. Let's admit it. It was very weird for all of us when we seen Hulk Hogan go from WWE to WCW. The mark that just the impact that he left with that company, right? Especially throughout the wrestling's 80s boom, and then 90s come, and then now you're kind of like, oh, you're in WCW now. So I know that was weird for everybody.
Yeah, I was a new fan at the time, but if I had been like a WWE fan from the 80s and saw like Hogan in WCW 94, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? I'll say I kind of felt that way when Hall and Nash went there. I felt that way like when Hall and Nash went there, and also when Brett went there. Because Brett especially, because you thought Brett would have been a lifer in WWE, and then for him to show up in WCW at that stage in his career, you fuck. Yeah. And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, I feel you. I remember. I think WCW tried to offer a contract to Undertaker one time. At one point.
Yeah, I heard of that multiple times. Yeah, Undertaker had at least like 2 different chances to go to WCW, but he didn't do it.
Nope.
That would have been weird too, after like him being the Undertaker for all those years. Also, Shawn would have been weird in WCW also, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can imagine seeing Shawn on Nitro like in 97. That shit would have been surreal.
Ooh.
But just with Edge, I just like always figured he would be in WWE for life, especially like at this stage in his career, like he's like winding down. I would have like never thought like at this stage he would go to AEW, but I guess never say never. But the one thing I will say, as long as he's happy with it, as long as he's excited about it, which he seems to be so far, especially if you judge by the press conference after the show Sunday, yeah, like as long as he's happy and it's like something that works best for him, then more power to him.
Exactly. And he's content with what he's doing. He has a legit, definite reason. Like, okay, this is what I want to do.
And he's going to be full time. Also, he's not going to be part time. He's going to be there every week.
See, that's the reason. He's going to work more matches than what he was limited to do in WWE. That is the reason why that he left, because he just feels that, look, I have more in me to do versus what they're having me to do back here at home at WWE. So it's kind of like, look, I just want to be used more type of deal.
And look what he did for, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. And look at all the people in AEW he could do that for also.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what I'm excited about.
Like, he wants to give back. That's the thing about him. He wants to give back.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited for. I'm just excited to be like, man, like what kind of matches he's going to do, how – like, this is the impact, not just for himself though, but like, this could help others, you know what I mean? So you got to look at, we're looking at the bigger picture than this. This is not just about him.
Exactly. That's the thing. He wants to be like somebody who contributes, who like helps the next generation and, leaves his mark in that regard.
Yeah. But I'm excited for it and I can't wait.
And he had his very first appearance on Dynamite last night in the main event segment of the show. So Edge invites Christian down to the ring, and then he basically talks about how they go way back. They've been friends for like 40 years, and how like when they got into wrestling together, that's when they knew they would be friends for life. And he said that like he's become much more of a douchebag in recent times. If you watch Dynamite the last few months, but he said regardless of that, he still loves him. He's still his brother to the end, all that good stuff. And then he mentions, I see the pay per view. I'm at the pay per view, and I see you standing over Sting. And he really gets into it when he talks about that. He's like, Sting, this is freaking Sting. You took his picture to the barber just so she could cut your hair just like his. You were Sting and I was Lex Luger. That's how it was back in the day. He's entertained people for 4 decades. He's made people feel for 4 decades. My wife's grandparents who are Polish, who don't even speak English, they even know who Sting is and they love him. So yeah, like he talks about like everything that went down on Sunday, and he mentions how like for the first time in 20 years, this is our chance to finally team together and do it the right way and do it on our own terms. So what do you say? So he puts his arms out for a hug, and then Christian hugs him back. But knowing Chrstian Cage in recent times, you knew this wasn't gonna end this way. So as they're hugging, Christian says on the mic, "Go fuck yourself."
Damn. Just the gasp from the crowd, though, Kurt. That, ooh.
I'm just so mad when I watched it last night. They like edited it out, so you didn't hear the actual version. But
I
fuck
mean, oh,
you.
they come on. They you really expect TNT to do that?
And the show actually went overtime last night. It went like 8 minutes past 10 o'clock.
Oh, I mean, come on. Be honest. You really think TNT was gonna like allow that? Come on now.
They've been saying shit on the show a lot the last like couple years, up until recently. But I guess
Mm,
maybe not that word so much.
right.
But still, that was one of the coldest lines of the year.
In all professional wrestling, I agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that might be able to top that. But yo, that line
I
cut
don't think for
like
this year. I don't. Man, I can. Oh man.
yeah, that line cut like
You
Freddy
know
Krueger.
what? Maybe You know what, Kurt? There is one that could rival that.
And which one might that be?
It was a Bloodline segment with Sami Zayn, and then Jay Uso. Pretty much when he said, "I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said." Was that this year?
Yeah, that was this year. That was good too. That one was also good, but nah,
That was shocking. That made me go, like what? Like, you know what I mean?
that one was good. But that line last night cut like Freddy Krueger's fingernails. That's how hard that shit cut.
I know, I know. I'm saying, I know that's the best one, but I'm just saying, look, like, what's another one that was close to it? It's like I think about that one as well, because that was like, dude, you literally that's your leader, and you don't give a damn what he thinks or say. I'm like, oh my god, I'll never forget that when I watched. I was like, what he said? What?
It's so crazy, man. Roman hasn't been on TV in 2 months since after SummerSlam.
Yeah, and he's gonna reportedly be back on TV. Is it this? Was it was no next weekend? Next week,
Not
right?
next week.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a few minutes, but let's get back to this whole Edge and Christian thing. That segment was a very good like preview of probably what we're gonna be getting from these two in the next few months.
Oh hell yeah!
And I feel like they're gonna do like a really proper feud in a way that they maybe weren't able to do in WWE.
Yeah,
That feud in 2001 they had was good, but a part of me felt like it ended too soon, and they could have like been more out of it than there was.
it was short. I mean, they only had like one match with each other, right?
They had two pay per view matches. Well, three if you count like that UK show, but they had like two major pay per view matches.
No mercy.
Yeah, the ladder match at No Mercy, which was good, especially the ending. The ending of that match was on point.
Hmm. And what was the second one?
Well, they had the match at Unforgiven the month before where Christian beat him for the IC title, and then No Mercy was the rematch.
Oh, oh, right. Okay, okay.
And then at the Rebellion show, like a few weeks after that, they had like a cage match.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, but after that, they didn't really work together much. I mean, they like briefly like went against each other like in and tag matches like in '02, like when Edge was teaming with Hogan and when Christian was in the Un-Americans. And then like in '05, they
Yep.
interacted a few times, like they were in the Money in the Bank match together and they teamed up together, I think once or twice. But yeah, but
Hmm.
they haven't like really
Yeah.
worked together, yeah, since then. Yeah, since like 2001.
Crazy. Wow. I mean, that's good though. I mean, and again, that's another reason why Edge went back. Look, part of him or most of him was like, okay, if I want to finish this, I want to finish this with my best friend.
Who's in arguably one of the best runs of his career right now.
Yeah. It's funny. Speaking of Christian, I was looking on something online on social media, and it was like an anniversary. It was a tag match. No, it was like a no, it was like a 3-way tag match, and on SmackDown back in 2005, and Christian was in that match, and I was just like, man, I felt like Christian fell off when he went to SmackDown in 2005. Like I felt bad because I was like, after like when he went like before that, when he was on Raw, you felt like I could take this guy seriously. I mean, he wasn't a title match, you know what I mean, but he was taken very seriously, and I'm like, oh, like he pushed very well. But when he went to SmackDown that year, it was just like, oh, it wasn't the same.
Yeah, he had a lot of potential during that period. He had a lot of momentum. That feud and that stuff that he was doing with Cena was entertaining. I'm not saying he should have won the title or anything like
Yeah,
that, but he could have at least been in that mix for a hot minute. And yeah, when they just moved him to SmackDown, he was like gone from
yeah,
the company not too long after that. I just always heard the stories that Vince told him straight up, like, I don't see you as a main eventer.
damn.
So then he ended up going to TNA and he had a great run there and then he came back. And to that 2011 run he had with Randy Orton was probably the other best thing he did in his career,
True, true,
solo
very true.
wise. Yeah, those matches were top notch, especially the blow off at SummerSlam. Yeah, they had a lot
Yep,
of great matches that year.
yep.
But like the stuff he's been doing these last few months with these like savage ass promos and just the TNT title, I'm telling you, I feel like he's made that title more relevant than it's been in a long time.
I because how the way he's using it. There's this old saying: "It's not you have to wear the belt; the belt doesn't wear you."
I was gonna say the same thing. Like the title doesn't make the man makes the title, and that's what he's been
Right.
doing with that belt. With his like fucking douchebag turtleneck and like yeah, his like a little smug look on his face. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he makes that belt. I feel like he does for that belt what Ric Flair did with the big 10 pounds of gold back in the day.
Hmm. I feel you on that.
They have the douchebagness to them, but the way they talk and the way they carry themselves, like they carry themselves like a champion, and they make that championship they hold on their shoulder feel special by association.
See, you know how to use it well. You got to use it well. So
So in that regard, I can't fault Adam Copeland for wanting to go to AEW and work with Christian with the run he's been having because that shit can be money.
no, I don't blame him for it either. Look, I support what he's doing, unlike some people, but I'm supporting him. It is weird, but it is what it is, and he's doing it for him. Was best for him.
Yeah, these memes have been coming out about like Edge coming out like at what Wrestle Dream with the look on his face, and the meme says that look when you realize AEW's arenas are half empty and you made a mistake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I
Yep.
love AEW. I've been enjoying the product even lately, but for whatever reason, they're just having a hard time, like selling tickets and even their ratings. The ratings for Dynamite last night were disappointing,
Oh man.
considering that it was like the first Dynamite after Adam debuted. Yeah, they didn't do well. They even did lower than last week's.
Damn. Ever since CM Punk got terminated.
Well, these problems were kind of existing beforehand, but obviously Punk getting terminated didn't help, and all the controversy surrounding it. But yeah, it's just so weird because the product is pretty good still. The product it has its issues and
I
its
believe it.
better, but it's just so weird. The product's actually
Huh.
pretty good, and they're having all these like issues selling tickets and with the ratings. It's yeah, I don't get it.
Me neither. That's just.
In that regard, WWE is ahead of them.
Yeah.
And actually both shows will be going head to head this coming Tuesday as Dynamite will be coming on Tuesday night instead of Wednesday, probably for the baseball playoffs. But yes, it's going to be coming on Tuesday night and it's going to be a stacked ass show. Actually, both shows are going to be super stacked.
Mm.
And it's great. So on NXT Tuesday night, they're going to have John Cena. They're going to have Cody Rhodes. They're going to have Asuka. Becky Lynch is still there, obviously, because she's the women's champion. Paul Heyman's going to be there too. So
Ooh.
all that bullshit about WWE not looking at AEW as competitions, bro, spare me. Spare me.
You spare me. That's a good way to put it out.
When the
Spare
fuck
me.
is John Cena ever been on NXT?
Never. Paul Heyman on NXT. Never.
Actually, the NXT's ratings have been going up the last few weeks, especially considering that they have Becky on there and other people from the main and
Hmm.
like Judgment Day on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
their ratings in a way have been better than Dynamite's.
NXT has been improving lately. I've noticed, and I briefly forgot that they had their No Mercy pay per view this past weekend.
Which I watched actually. I actually watched the show. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Mhm. Trick Williams, man.
Yes, he won the North American title from Dominic Mysterio, but after a stern talking to by Rhea Ripley on Raw Monday, Dominic was extra motivated in his return match this past Tuesday, which led to him regaining the title.
Damn. You win the belt, and it's like, oh damn it! That's just like when Kane won the title, and it's like the next night you lose it. Fuck.
I like Trick Williams, but I don't know. For some weird reason, I was rooting for Dominic. I don't know why I was, but I was rooting for
Why?
him.
Do you like Trick Williams' theme song though?
Yeah, I like Trick Williams. I don't really know it by heart like that, but I will say the whole Judgment Day thing is just one of my favorite things on Raw. And I don't want to see Dominic and Rhea break up. That'd be as bad as when Corey and Topanga would break up.
It's gonna happen. It's I know. Oh, wait, whoa! You're comparing this to Corey Topanga? Are you serious? Dude, oh, you know what? That's fine. That's fine, Kurt. Compare that to them, because you know why? Because one of them is going to cheat on each other, just like Corey cheated on Topanga. Ha! Case dismissed.
Corey technically didn't cheat. He lied. Admittedly, he did with that girl at the ski lounge. He lied and he fucked up doing that. And they kind of kissed briefly, but like he didn't hook up with the girl like that.
Still cheating.
No, he fucked up. Don't get me wrong. He fucked up, but I couldn't really call that cheating per se. He violated her trust. He fucked up by lying, but I don't know if I would call that necessarily cheating officially.
Wait a minute. Okay, because I haven't watched the show in years. Okay,
Neither have I
sorry, we
really.
changed the
But
subject. Yeah, sorry, we changed the subject, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so during that time, Corey and Topanga were in a relationship, right?
I know that. Yes, of course they are. I know that. That's why I said that Corey
Okay,
was fucked
and
up for doing what he did.
yeah, but Corey did kiss that girl at the ski lounge, right?
She kissed him. She kissed him.
It doesn't matter. I wonder what season this is, so I can.
Season 5. That's the peak of the show. Season 4 and season 5 are the two best seasons, bar none.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. That's the only place I think you can watch it now.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, let's get back to wrestling. So yeah, so Dominic regained the title, and yeah, next week they're gonna have Cody on there, John Cena on there, Paul Heyman on there, etc. Asuka, and on AEW Dynamite they're going to have Edge. I'm sorry, they're gonna have Adam Copeland's first AEW match as he will take on Luchasaurus,
Ooh,
Christian's protege.
yeah. The man who Adam pretty much took out at a Wrestle Dream. Good way to put it in.
And also, we're going to have an AEW women's title match with Saraya defending the title against the former champion Hikaru Shida.
Mm,
Should be a good ass match, actually. That should be a good ass match.
it should be.
And Ray Phoenix defending the international title against the man he took it from 2 weeks ago, giving him a concussion in the process, Jon Moxley.
Wow.
Which we all found out that the ending to that match wasn't supposed to go that way. Ray Phoenix wasn't supposed to win, but since Moxley got hurt, they had to change the finish on the fly. So this match is basically going to be for Moxley to get the belt back. But it should be a good match regardless, because their last match, even before that injury happened, was wild too.
I believe you. That's a very interesting, very stacked Tuesday that we have, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm not finished. We also have another match. We have Bryan Danielson against Swerve Strickland, who just beat Hangman Adam Page at Wrestle Dream in a great match, in a match for the #1 contendership for the TNT Championship.
Crazy.
Dynamite's coming with the big guns also. They're not fucking around. They're like, yo,
War.
NXT wants They're like, yo, NXT wants to bring the big guns on us. We can play that shit too.
It's war. But look, I got to remember, man, like NXT has like the slight advantage, man. You have all that star power all in one show on NXT. That's just like, whoa. You got Cena, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman. Dude, and you got, Becky Lynch is still there because she's the champion. That's a lot. That's a lot of ammo.
Becky suffered a nasty injury from that match with Tiffany Stratton. She had like a nasty like gash in her elbow. It was so bad that she couldn't even wrestle on Raw Monday.
Holy crap.
She was like in an arm sling and
Got
all.
that wrapped up.
Yeah, she was like in an arm sling and all that jazz. Yeah, that match was a war. That Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch match was a war.
Tiffany Stratton, I like her.
Yeah, she has a lot of potential. I think she could be a big deal on the main roster.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And speaking of big deals on the main roster and big deals in general, since AEW is now the home of Edge, it is official that Jade Cargill is officially now a part of WWE, as she officially signed last week, reported to the Performance Center, and has been receiving a lot of high praise from Shawn Michaels and the people in NXT, and Triple H even went as far as to call her a game changer.
I believe it's a game changer too, because you got to remember just the presence, that physique that she has. It's gonna it speaks for itself. I am excited. I cannot wait for her to debut. I believe it's rumored that she's going to make her debut at Fastlane.
Yeah, it could happen. They
Yeah.
said that she's supposed to be backstage, and she's more than likely going to be a part of the Raw brand.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. But man, so much potential. I'm just so excited for what's to come, and the people that she could work with, Bianca Belair especially. I cannot wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, and she gave an interview with ESPN. They were the first ones to break it when the news happened, and they basically asked her why she went to WWE and decided to sign with them. And she said it kind of came down to leadership, basically because of Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, and Nick Khan, and and WWE being the biggest company in the world and where everybody's become stars and become household names. It was like a no-brainer for her to sign with them.
I see what you mean.
It makes sense because I feel like if she really wants to be like a celebrity, like like a mainstream celebrity to that degree, then WWE is the right place.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
love AEW. AEW is great, but WWE has a 40-year head start on them.
Well, of course, because dude, I mean, it's a long list of wrestlers where you soar your popularity over wrestling. It's a long list. We already know who it is, and just with her and her presence, my God, like just imagine, of what they could do with her popularity and her just her just that presence.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There's so much
the,
they could do.
the presence, the character work, the look. Yeah, like I said, she may not have all the wrestling skills down just yet, and she's only been doing it for 2 years, so she still has
I
time.
believe,
But
yeah,
whatever she may lack in those areas, she more than makes up for in that other stuff. And that other stuff goes a long motherfucking way.
it will. And and another thing, it comes to her ring work. I truly believe that it will greatly improve as she's with her tenure here.
She's gotten better compared to when she debuted 2 years ago, definitely. But considering that she's been doing it for that little amount of time, imagine what she's going to be like, 5 years from now,
Yeah,
or even a year from now with the WWE's training under her belt.
I give it a couple years. I give it a couple years, and honestly, I think that her ring work will greatly improve, especially with the people that she could work with. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Her storylines and her characters being treated as a big deal by the writing staff. It's definitely a high priority, and it should be.
Better be. Better be.
And she did mention that Cody was kind of the ones who influenced her to come also.
Yeah, and it's funny. Her and Cody are the only two wrestlers that was from AEW and came to WWE. Yeah, they're the only AEW superstars that were to start from there and go to WWE.
Well, Jade is the first
I
homegrown talent from AEW to go there.
true.
Cody was
Yeah,
already in WWE.
yeah, yeah,
Cody was already in WWE
yeah.
previously, but he wasn't like the star in WWE that he would become in AEW later on.
Right.
They're the first two major defections from AEW to WWE, and there could be more on the way because I feel like Cody, the same conversations he was having with Jade, he's probably also having with like MJF and Ricky Starks, who he's also very close with. So you could see those dudes jump into WWE within a few years, also. Very possible.
Hey man, if MJF goes to WWE, oh my goodness. Whew.
He's still the champion, and he's a
Wow.
babyface.
I know though, but his contract, how much longer does he have left now?
I think until the beginning of 2024. Yeah, like so 3 months in that case.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. He's still the champion. He's doing a good job with that title. He always has been, but I'm just curious what's gonna happen.
Next month is going to be 1 year since he's been the champion.
Wow.
I would say he's probably the best champion that companies had besides Kenny Omega. I would say him and Kenny Omega were probably the two strongest champions they had.
I feel you.
Yeah, but in any event, yeah, Jade going to WWE is a slam dunk. I don't see them like botching this one because I feel like they were gonna just like with Cody, they're gonna kind of send a message to maybe some of the people in AEW that like if you come to WWE, you can actually have like a different level of success.
Yeah.
Because now they're more in a position where they have to kind of like appease people who may want to come to WWE and not like scare them away like they might have like 15 years ago when with the indies like Ring of Honor and TNA.
Oh, right. I see what you mean. Hmm.
Yeah, because realistically, like before CM Punk and Bryan Danielson came around, like those Ring of Honor type wrestlers in WWE weren't like getting the breaks that they deserved until those
Mhm.
dudes came along.
I see what you mean.
If Jade debuts this weekend, I'm wondering who she would like confront. Like it's very interesting to see who she would confront because as of now, there's no
That
Raw women
is interesting, and she's gonna be on the Raw brand too. So that,
unless that's just a swerve because only SmackDown has a women's title match this weekend. There's no Raw women's title match for the show.
right.
All right, so with that being said, yeah, let's get into the Fastlane card real fast. It's this coming Saturday from Indianapolis, Indiana. And admittedly, this is kind of the slower time of the year when it comes to pay-per-views and the product as a whole. But I still feel like WWE will deliver because they've been on a roll with these pay-per-views throughout the year. And even though this one doesn't have the most hype going into it, I still feel like they'll come through for us in the end. They had a good track record of that.
I believe it. I believe it, and I like this match card.
Yeah, so let's run that down real fast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So first, we have a tag team match for the undisputed tag team championships between the Judgment Day of Finn Balor, Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Pretty interesting. I think I like the matchup. I like the pairing between Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, and the fact that Jay has been entangling with Judgment Day and helping Cody Rhodes out. So I don't really see a problem with that. I like it. But man,
I like this match. It definitely makes sense, especially since Cody brought Jay to Raw, and it's nice to actually see Cody on the pay-per-view this month.
finally.
Yeah, and I think this match will be fun. I think it'll be entertaining, but I do think the Judgment Day retains because of Judgment Day shenanigans, and this is going to further the build to what I think will be the War Games match at Survivor Series.
I believe it too. I believe I could see a War Games matchup between the Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, KO, Sami Zayn, and
Yeah, I definitely see it going in that direction from like the segments they've been doing the last few weeks, and I fucks with that. I fucks with that
yeah.
100%. Chicago's going to be popping that Thanksgiving weekend. It's going to be cold as fuck, but it's going to be popping.
Ooh, don't say that. Ooh, oh my god. Ooh. Oh my god. Don't. Oh my god. Don't remind. I never even been to Chicago, but I just, man, during that time of the year, Lord Jesus. Ooh.
Neither have I. That's why they call it the Windy City, bro. They don't call it that shit for no reason.
Well, it's always winter throughout the year though, but it's different when it's wintertime over there. My god. Ooh, ooh,
Bro,
ooh.
it's suffering. From what I see,
Does
it's
it get
fucking.
cold in Atlanta? Does it get Does it get cold in Atlanta?
Yeah, it does. It gets cold. It snowed like once or twice since I've been here.
Oh wow. Hmm.
For like half a day or so. But yeah, it gets pretty cold over here. I'll say. Yeah, it does.
Oh, wow. Okay. So on to the next match, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a six-man tag match. That's between the LWO, the team of Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and either Juan Wild or Cruz del Toro. I don't know which one they're going to pick. But anyway, they're going to be facing the team of Bobby Lashley and the Street
The
Profits.
newly turned heel Street Profits, official as of last Friday.
Yeah. Mhm. I think I'm picking Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits to win. This is a newly formed team, and if they want to be taken seriously, they need to win this match. So I'm picking them.
No shit, they're winning. Of course, they're winning. They just turned last week. They're like the new fresh thing. And I think they're going to probably further the
Yeah.
split between Ray and Santos Escobar. They had a great match on SmackDown last week, which Ray retained. But I definitely see like a
Oh
split
yeah.
between the two of them coming soon. And then the reason why we're having this match is because after that match was over, it looked like they were about to shake hands, but the Street Profits attacked them as they were motivated by Bobby Lashley after he was bitching them out for messing up the last few weeks. They delivered and delivered by doing this. So now this is why we're having the match. But Street Profits and Lashley will pick up the win, build more momentum from there, and I'm liking where this is going. I like the direction of the Street Profits right now.
Same here. And you know what's so funny? Speaking of the LWO, because today marks the 25th anniversary when the LWO started back in WCW.
There's a lot of anniversaries today. That's that anniversary, the anniversary of Bad Blood '97 with the Hell in a Cell match and Kane's debut,
Mhm.
and then also the same day Brian Pillman died.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
And also that No Mercy 2008 with the Shawn and Jericho ladder match, which I actually just watched before we went on the
Yes.
air.
Oh my God. I forgot. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my God, it's been today's been damn, it's been 15 years. Damn. Crazy. Where has the time gone? Like, look, you know how I feel about 2008 when it came to that wrestling year. But look, I ain't gonna lie, like they had some good matches here and there. That was one of them. I believe wasn't it nominated for a match of the year for PWI?
It was one of the nominations, probably, but the one that won for that year was the Shawn and Ric Flair match from WrestleMania.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But that ladder match between Shawn and Jericho, oh my God, the finish,
Ooh, that was a
crazy.
great finish when they both grab the belt.
Tug of
Yeah,
war.
and you don't know who's gonna get it, but then like Shawn gets headbutted and falls off. But yeah, what a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
match and a great cap off to a great feud. I can't say enough good things
Hmm.
about that whole dynamic between these two guys.
I have to say, damn, it's Shawn Jericho and Edge and Taker. Those are like the two best feuds from 2008.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I wasn't even watching that year, but from the highlights I've seen of it, yeah, those are definitely the two best feuds and best quality matches. Also, the other great match that was taking place in '08 was the Taker and Edge Hell in a Cell from SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to the Fastlane card. So I said we do have the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley winning. I think that definitely is going to be the right move, and we'll see where they go from here.
Yes.
Maybe Bianca Belair might come back and help them.
Maybe I would like to see her in that faction. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, crazy. She's been gone for 2 months now.
Yeah, it's been 2 months. I feel like it's been a month. This year's went so by fast. I'm surprised it's October, bro. Jeez.
Well, she's been making those
It,
appearances. Like she was at the official merger, like for the company a couple weeks ago, and then she was at the VMAs.
yeah, that I know. Yeah, that I know.
Yeah. Also, I heard the reality show with her and Montez is supposed to drop like within the next like few months, like before the year is over.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens with that. So, okay, on to the next match. What is the next match on the docket?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a triple threat match for the women's championship between Io Sky, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair.
Shoot.
You know, you know something. We were just talking about Jade Cargill, and possibly she'll make her debut at Fastlane, and it'll be like, who would we put her with? You know what? If Charlotte Flair wins, that's when Jade Cargill will make her debut. The perfect person to do that with. That pairing. That's a match made in heaven. I can see it right now.
It could go down that way. I could definitely see Charlotte winning the match, and after
I just,
as she's
yeah.
celebrating, Jade Cargill comes out and they have a face off.
Mhm. And that's the perfect way to do it. You have the physical presence of Jade Cargill. Charlotte Flair is no slouch himself. She's fit as well. That's perfect.
If Charlotte wins,
If, yes, if she doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily say Jade will come. It would just, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind it per se because I'll be honest, I was happy that Io Sky won the belt at SummerSlam, but ever since then, she still feels like an afterthought because she's still in the whole damage control thing. And like even when they come out, she's the champion, but she still like stands like to the side as opposed to like standing in the center.
Oh yeah, because Bailey's in the center, right?
Yeah, it just feels weird. Like it kind of feels like, let's say, when Randy Orton won the title at SummerSlam all those years ago when he was in Evolution. If he actually stayed in the group and he came out with the belt, but he came out like behind Triple H
Triple
and
H would have been
behind
in the middle.
Batista.
Right.
That's kind of what this feels like. If Randy Orton had stayed in Evolution.
I see what you mean. Yeah, man. I see what you mean by that. That's funny. Crazy.
I could see there being a rift actually. Now that I look back at it, it was actually Bailey who recommended Io being in this match, and Io wasn't like happy about it. So I could like see like there being like a further rift between the two of them during the match, and that costs Io the title. I could definitely see, and then they go on the feud afterwards.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they could feud for a few months, and then possibly, if the rumors are true, Bailey can feud going into WrestleMania with Cardi B. It's a rumor. I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see Bailey the belly suplexer from the top rope, but for right now, it's just some speculation.
I see what you mean. Well, I honestly think Charlotte Flair is going to win. That's my pick.
Yeah, I think with like as I said a second ago with the whole damage control thing, I think it's probably going to be a further rift, and that's going to cost Evil the title, and that's going to let Charlotte win it. And then if she does win, I think that's when Jade Cargill shows up and they have a face off.
Yep.
And if they have the face off at Fastlane, I think they do the match at Survivor Series. I think they wait for Survivor Series.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect setting. And yes, the next match we have another tag team match, and that is between the Bloodline, the team of Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, versus John Cena and LA Knight. Not surprised LA Knight is his tag team partner. At first, we were like, oh, it was going to be a handicap match. It was just going to be John Cena versus the Bloodline. But no, ladies and gentlemen, he has a tag team partner. It is the man who he rose. This is the hand that he rose in victory at Payback, LA Knight. I'm picking John Cena and LA Knight to win this match. And them winning this match will cause further dysfunction between Jimmy and Solo Sikoa, pretty much in the bloodline. Bro, did you see that segment that Jimmy Uso did? How he was trying to act like Roman?
You mean like last week when he was like attacking him and Solo were like attacking everyone and like causing a ruckus backstage the whole time?
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there was a segment where the bloodline was in a ring, and you know how Roman Reigns, how he takes the microphone and he tells whatever city they're in to acknowledge me and all that stuff. Well, Jimmy Uso kind of did the same thing.
Oh shit, okay, I think I remember what you're talking about. But let me
Yeah.
be honest, I know a lot of people feel this way. It's just so weird and it doesn't make any sense that Jimmy Uso was the one all those months encouraging Jay to like, leave Roman and leave the bloodline. And even when he turned on Jay at SummerSlam, his explanation was that he didn't want Jay to be an asshole the way Roman's an asshole. And now he's like trying to beg and like get back into the good graces of the bloodline. It's like, what the fuck are they doing with this?
That's
Yeah,
weird.
it is very weird.
Yeah, that is weird, dude. That is a good point what you said, man, but it is weird. And that's why I'm saying, like, dude, John Cena and LA Knight are gonna win, right? That's gonna cause more a little bit of a dysfunction between them because you saw how Jimmy's trying to work himself back into the group, and Solo Sokoa and Paul Heyman are kind of like, you know.
And it's a weird statistic that Cena hasn't won a singles match according to these records like in 6 years.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, what
Got
the
to get that
fuck?
W. Get that W. Come on now,
Oh, this
break
is a
it.
tag.
Let's
This is a tag match. This isn't a singles match, but still, I think they're gonna win
still,
regardless.
still. And also, there was a rumor reported that they may do Roman Reigns versus John Cena at Crown Jewel.
I heard that today. Yes, I heard that today. I was hearing a few weeks ago it was going to be LA Knight and Roman, but I could see them doing that also. It could also go down that way.
I mean, who do you prefer? I kind of want to prefer because we already saw Roman versus John Cena before recently, a couple years ago at
Yeah, two,
SummerSlam.
two SummerSlams ago. Yeah, we saw that already.
Um, I I don't know. I think me personally, I would just love to see LA Knight in this spotlight. I mean, you look at the momentum that he has and the push that he has, and I just would love to see him in that position more than John Cena.
Yeah, I would prefer it also. Like it's a new feud, it's a new match. LA Knight's on a hot streak right now. He actually was number one in merch sales for the third straight month.
Holy crap! Whoa!
Yeah, bro, it's for real.
Wow! I told. See, crazy.
I think whoever gets the pinfall in the match on Saturday, whether it's Cena or LA Knight, that person's the one who's gonna go against Roman at the next pay per view at Crown Jewel.
Okay, we got to look at that one carefully. That's a good. That's a good. That's a
Yeah,
very
that,
good point. Point that out.
and that match is probably going to be the main event more than likely. I know you're probably not going to be happy with that because it's not the title match, but let's be real, it's more than likely going to be the main event.
That bothers me because yeah, we're gonna go on to our next match, which is for the World Heavyweight Championship, but in a last man standing match, and that is between Seth freaking Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. This match should be the last match. Like, it's last man standing.
Yeah,
It's last man standing, Kurt.
bro, I get it, but it's the October pay per view. Who cares?
What do you mean?
It's the October pay per view. This is like the dead
What does
season
that
for
have to
WWE.
do? What does that have to do with anything being in October?
Nah, but like, bro, this is kind of like a pay per view. Like, we don't really have that much interest going into anyway. So, what difference does it make if that match made the
It doesn't
third?
matter if anybody doesn't have any interest in it. Put the world title as your main event. Like that's like saying like, oh, it's well, nobody cares about the rebellion pay per view because it's in England, so it shouldn't really matter if the world title match is not the main event.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't watch those fucking shows anyway.
That's in freaking England. That's why this is different. So just because the pay per view's in October, we shouldn't be freaking careless about like, oh well, nobody cares. You don't care if the world title. I care.
Okay, maybe it will go on last. Who knows? But since Cena, it's Cena. He hasn't wrestled on a pay per view in what 6 months, and even longer before that. I could see them putting that match as the main event. But regardless of which match goes on last, I think Rollins and Nakamura will be a fun match with the last man standing stipulation. I think they'll both make good use of it. I did like that segment on Raw
Yes.
Monday where like Rollins was talking about his back, and also Michael Cole was the one interviewing
Yeah.
him, and then he asked Michael Cole like how many shows he's missed since he's been in the company, and Cole said two, and he's like, yo, and you didn't miss those shows because you give a fuck and you actually love what you do, and this shit like is a part of your life, and that's what being the champion and being at this spot is for me. Even if I'm hurt, even if I'm sick, I still come to work.
Yeah.
I fucks with that segment. Yeah, I fucks
I
with it.
like it, but damn, that kind of like we're like, oh shit, like
Knock it off, bro. You know he's retaining. Knock it off.
okay. Even though Shinsuke, I like what Shinsuke did to him. How he kind of he did the backbreaker slam
And that
on the steel chair.
and honestly, that's how I know he's losing because usually in most of these cases, the person who gets like the last like blow or like the last word before like the match happens, they usually end up losing more often than not.
Hmm.
And also, I don't.
True.
And also, I don't see Rollins losing the pay per view to Nakamura. No disrespect to Nakamura and the work he's been doing lately. And also at a pay per view like this, I don't see him losing the belt right now under those circumstances at all.
I'm just happy that Nakamura was pushed in this
Yeah,
position.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Thank God.
It's been a nice feud. I've had no problem with it. It's been an entertaining feud.
It's like thank goodness. Like he needed that. Like when he came back, I was like awesome. But then I was like, what are you doing? I don't see this guy around. Like, what are you doing with him? And then they turned him heel. Not only did they turn him heel, they had him feud with Seth Rollins. I was like, thank God. And they made him more serious. The segments that he was doing, how they showed him like training and speaking in Japanese. I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, this is perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm actually happy that they really pushed him this time. And
I'm
I'm going to be honest with you. I like this heel push that they did for him versus what they did 5 years ago when he was feuding with AJ Styles.
Yeah, this one's been a little better. I'll admit that.
Yes.
But just like that feud with AJ Styles, I think this feud ends the same way in a last man standing match, a great match at that, but one where Nakamura does not win in the end and the champion retains, and that champion will be Seth Rollins.
I
And I
agree.
can't wait to see what crazy ass fucking outfit he has planned for us.
As always. Okay.
All right, but let's get into some other news. Since we last spoke to you guys 2 weeks ago, there was another release from WWE, and that one release was one Matt Riddle.
Oh, man.
Damn, this one's too
Oh.
bad, man. I mean, I can't say I didn't see it coming with the things that have been going on the last like year or so,
Mm,
but it
mm.
still sucks that it happened. I'm still kind of bummed out that it went down this
Very
way.
unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Just damn, you kind of just wish Orton was around, man, because he definitely would have helped.
Yeah, maybe having Orton around with him maybe would have kept him out of trouble and kept him on a good path. That's
Yeah,
possible,
man.
but at the end of the day, he's a grown adult and he has to take responsibility for his own actions.
I know, I know. It's just a shame because you go back to last year.
Yeah,
Okay, when Orton got hurt, you kind of like you had this profound, exceeded potential in him. I was like, oh my God, like this is the time for him to be pushed. And he was doing a good job with it. He was feuding with Seth Rollins, loved that feud. And I'm like, this is great. And then slowly but surely it just went downhill after that.
bro, not even just feuded with Seth Rollins. 1 year ago this weekend at the Extreme Rules pay per view last year, he was in the main event of the pay per view with Rollins. So a year ago at this time, he was main eventing a pay per view with Seth Rollins, and now fast forward to a year later, he got fired.
Yeah.
To be honest, his kind of downfall started for me after that match. Like after that feud, I noticed like he wasn't being used as much, and then they did that angle where like Solo Sikoa put him out, which was like to write him off for like going to rehab. And then when he came back, they weren't like kind of using him at the same level still. And I knew like when he lost to Gunther at Money in the Bank, like in a 7 minute match, I'm like, yeah, something's up. They are not like invested in this dude the same way anymore. Definitely
Yeah.
not the same vibe.
Like and again, I wanted him to have like a little one off or feud with Gunther for the IC title, And I was like, I picked it, and they were right, but it just again, you said 7 minutes, and you just knew something wasn't right, man. And
Yeah, for like that match to be at a pay per view and for it to turn out like that, like kind of basically almost like a squash match. I
it
was like,
was,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm not invested in this
I
anymore.
forgot about that. That whole match was just one sided. It was just like, well, damn, I wanted him to be in that match, but I wasn't expecting it to be one sided. Holy crap!
Yeah, and then that whole incident that happened at the airport about a month ago, where he was like intoxicated and he accused like the officers there of like sexually harassing him or assaulting him.
Yeah, dude.
When I saw that story and I heard he was intoxicated and that he was being taken off the shows that week after, I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna be around much longer. And unfortunately, it led to this. The story that came out was that he burned through too many chances with WWE, and from what I see, that's probably true because in this case, like you can't blame Triple H, you can't blame Vince, you can't blame Nick Khan or whatever. You can only blame Matt Riddle. I hate to say it, but that's how it turned out.
You're an adult. You got to be responsible, just like you said. Okay, do you see him going to AEW?
I mean, maybe it could happen, but even if he does go there, it just seems like this dude has a lot of like personal issues he needs to deal with.
True.
So even if he goes to AEW, like if he doesn't deal with those personal issues, it's not going to do him any good.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I heard he's coming out with his own strain of cannabis. It's called Riddle OG.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, I gotta get me some of that. I mean, look, I'm a pothead. I get that aspect of him. Like, I know he likes to smoke also, but I think he dabbles in the drugs beyond that, though.
Yeah. Doesn't RVD has his own cannabis?
He has, I believe he does. I know he has his own rolling papers. I know that much for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my kind of dude. I always told you, like, the two wrestlers I feel like I would hit it off with the most if I ever met them were like RVD and Brian Danielson. Like, those are the two I could definitely see myself like clicking with and like identifying with.
For me, it's number one pick is Chris Jericho.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
The hockey thing and the wrestling thing and also the rock music thing. Yeah, I could see you guys being buddy buddy.
Yeah.
I also heard that Riddle and Drew McIntyre were supposed to be like a tag team, and their tag team was going to be called McGriddles.
Oh my god, I think I heard it. Oh, wow.
They were going to have T-shirts and everything.
That would have sold.
I remember, I remember when I used to work at McDonald's. That was my favorite breakfast sandwich for a hot minute.
Oh, I see.
But that was the most fattening one. The McGriddles, that was like the least healthy sandwich on that whole menu. And a menu full of unhealthy sandwiches, that's really saying a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't miss those days. I don't miss eating that junk at all. I can't even call it food. I remember a few months ago at my job, this family was in. They got like McDonald's for their kids, and I saw the chicken nuggets that their kids were eating. I'm like, what the fuck is that even food? Or is that food or a fucking science experiment? I'm dead ass, bro. But that's another story. But yeah, just too bad that it had to end that way for Riddle. Like I enjoyed his character. He was having kick ass matches, but there even like years before like all of this went down, there were like times where like he would like say certain things that would like rub people the wrong way. How like he was gonna retire Brock Lesnar, and he like called out Goldberg a few times. And like him and Rollins actually legit had beef before like they started working together. So yeah, like he did say some things and do some things that kind of put him in a bad light.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but regardless, I just hope the dude lands back on his feet soon. I hope he gets his shit together.
Same.
Yeah, but regardless of where he ends up, just more than anything, I just hope the dude just gets his shit together. Whatever shit he needs to get together, I hope he does that.
Just let that be your first thing to take care of more than anything else.
Absolutely. And Becky Lynch recently opened up about her frustrations with the women's division in WWE, specifically with Raw. And she was basically talking about the fact that it's like very hard, almost impossible for a lot of like the new women who've been getting called up recently to, become popular, become relevant because they're not given any TV time or they're not giving, any like real matches or stories. So if they're not given that, if they're not given like that chance to at least show what they can do, how are they supposed to become popular and how are they supposed to become an asset in that regard?
I agree. You got to be used well.
And some of the names she dropped were Tegan Knox, who she actually wanted to work with several weeks ago, but they gave the spot to Natty instead. They were actually supposed to work together on Raw this past Monday, but because of Becky's injury, it got postponed.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
And she also mentioned Indy Hartwell, who actually she had a segment with on NXT this past Tuesday. So it's looking like that'll probably go down at some point.
Hmm.
It's so funny. They called up Indy Hartwell to the main roster, had her drop the NXT title, and they never used her once on the main roster ever since.
Damn.
Or maybe they did once and that was it.
You got to be used well regardless.
Yeah, she mentioned like Indy Hartwell. She mentioned Zia Lee. Zia Lee, I remember they had those like vignettes for her like a few years ago talking about her debut, and then she had like one match and then you never saw her again.
Damn.
Also, Candice LeRae. She also mentioned Zoe Stark, who she's been working with the whole Trish feud. So yeah, she
Hmm.
has a point, like a lot, and also Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Those are two other ones that don't get any TV time ever since they've been called up. They had like a few matches, like with Ronda and Shayna, like for a few weeks, but then since then I haven't seen them on TV, and that was like what 3 months ago.
You know what? That reminds me. I'm a bit surprised that there's no World Women's Championship match on this card.
Yeah, and look at Rhea Ripley's title reign. She's been the champion for 6 months, and she's had like not one like real legit feud.
Right.
Hell, even
And
her
I'm
feud.
hoping that
Hell, even the feud she had with Charlotte going into WrestleMania, the feud going into it wasn't that popping.
Right. The match was good, but the feud was just we're kind of like, eh. But as of right now, look what's happened over the past couple of weeks. Nia Jax came back, took her out, and then Rhea finally returned after that and went after Nia Jax. We're kind of like, okay, do a match. That's perfect. But how come I don't see them on a card?
I think a part of it also might be the fact that they like to keep these pay-per-views very light. They don't like to have more than like maybe 6 to 7 matches. So that's
Uh,
probably the reason why I got
there's
left
only
off.
5 matches on here, Kurt.
Maybe they might add another match tomorrow or something. I don't know, but it is what it is. I don't like it. I feel like they
Ooh.
deserve better. And AEW's women's division is even worse.
Oh.
Yeah, with the AEW women's division, they have a lot of talented women on there too. But bro, it's like
Mhm.
I can tell that shit is not a priority to them the way it should be.
Well, they made a priority to make the belt look good, but you're not really doing it well by having it represented. That's like, and to me, that's I'm gonna be honest with you. That's I think that one and the international championship belt. Those are like my two favorite belts as far as looks. Those are my two favorite from AEW.
Yeah, I hear you, but Becky's right. Like when it comes to the women and even the men in some cases when in AEW, because AEW is not just a women's problem. If you can't get TV time and consistent TV time and consistent time to tell a story, how popular do you expect them to get? And how much do you expect people to
Right.
care about them?
Hmm.
Because I told you, especially with AEW, that's a huge problem where like you'll see like a dude on TV or a girl on TV one week, and then you won't see them again for a month. Hell, even with Jade Cargill, that was happening for a minute. There would be like weeks at a time where I wouldn't see her on Dynamite.
Well, you know what? I think we had this issue before, like since last year. The roster is kind of over.
Saturated.
Just yeah, you have a lot of people on that roster, Kurt, and you're kind of like, you had to balance and like, okay, who could I fit in here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And that collision show on Saturday helps, but still, man, there's like I just think of Keith Lee. Keith Lee is probably the prime example I think of.
Fuck, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, and even Wardlow, who actually came back on Dynamite last night, they botched the
Oh,
shit out of him big time. He's
wow.
another dude I could potentially see jumping to WWE. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, true. But like I said again, man, like Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax should be on that card, especially after what I saw this past Monday.
I think what's gonna happen is that Nia is probably gonna run through Raquel Rodriguez first, since she attacked also Raquel Rodriguez in that match a few weeks ago. So she'll probably go through her first, and then they'll do her and Rhea probably at the next pay-per-view.
But it's not right though. Like I get it. Like she took out Raquel first though, but you got to remember she took out Rhea Ripley too. And then when she came back, she immediately went after Nia Jax. So you kind of like I'm kind of like looking at things very closely. I'm kind of like reading through the lines here. Like that should be Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax first. Or pretty much what I said a couple weeks ago, you do a triple threat where it's Rhea, Raquel, and Nia Jax for the title. Because she did remember Nia Jax did she interfered in that title match. She cost Raquel the match.
Yeah, I remember, but it's just scary how much far ahead Rhea is over the rest of the women's roster on Raw. Except for Becky. Becky's the only one I'd say who's on her level. Yeah, it's scary how much further ahead Rhea is than the other girls on Raw. Scary. It's not SmackDown's also not that much better. I mean, the stuff with like that match with Io and Asuka was great a few weeks ago on SmackDown, but Io doesn't really feel like that credible of a champion with the whole damage control thing, like I
Yeah.
mentioned
Right.
earlier. And
Yeah.
Charlotte's
Mhm.
fine. And Bianca's also been gone for a few months, so that's also hurt them. But yeah, bro,
Man.
both companies are having like a weird issue with their women's division. I really hope they get it together soon.
I hope so too, man. I hope they really need to fix the situation with Rhea's title because, like you said, man, just ever since she won the title, it hasn't been used well. So
I feel like
I
they
hope they change it.
I feel like if they do her and I'm sorry, if they end up doing her and Becky, it's not going to be until WrestleMania time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Becky's still having that run in NXT. I think it's probably going to go on a little longer. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
not going to be a feud we see for a while. And it sucks. I wanted to see her and Bianca go at it, but now they're on separate shows, so it's probably going to be a hot minute before that ever happens again.
True.
And also, it's unfortunate, but Adam Cole actually legit injured his ankle on that spot a few weeks ago on Dynamite where he jumped off the
How
ramp.
bad?
They said he broke his ankle like in like two or three different places. So
Oh,
from the way it's looking, he's going to be out for a while. But he's still been in
damn.
storylines the last few weeks with Roderick Strong, where like Roderick Strong is like kind of guilt tripping him into taking care of him with his neck being messed up,
Mhm.
which have been pretty funny. So like with him doing these segments and all that, and him still being on TV, it's kind of like a thing where maybe he's hurt, but maybe he's not as hurt as they're making it out to look like. So maybe he might not be as gone as they're making it out to seem he will be gone.
Right.
Yeah, but it sucks, man. If he really is going to be injured for like 6 months or so, that's a bad look.
Yeah. Very unfortunate, dude. Man, like that. Oh.
Yeah, something just like jumping off the ramp, and yeah, it sucks because he was gone for like almost a year with the whole concussion issue last year, and he just came back, and he's been in
Right.
this great storyline with MJF, which honestly has been one of the best things, if not the best thing on the whole show. And now he fucking gets hurt.
Damn.
Yeah, they didn't lie. Triple H didn't lie when he said that these injuries happen during the worst possible times.
Bad timing.
Very bad timing, and I guess that might explain why Britt Baker also asked for time off. Also, she's gonna be gone for a while too.
Hmm. I see what you mean.
And Hogan recently did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and he was basically talking about several things, including the fact that his back issues and like everything that came from the back surgeries have been so bad and it's like so painful that some days he'd rather jump off a cliff than live another day.
Damn, for real?
That's
Damn.
how bad he said those back injuries are and those back problems are.
Wow.
He's had 10 back surgeries at least. Yeah, he's had like 10 back surgeries.
Yikes.
And he said it's funny, like his doctor will always ask him what he would rather have between living a life with no pain or going back for one last match and like one last big retirement match. He said he would pick the retirement match.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he said, like as crazy as it sounds, he would pick the retirement match.
Crazy. Bad his back is? Wow.
Yeah. Also, he also mentioned that he signed a new Legends contract with WWE.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he signed a new Legends contract, and that biopic that was supposed to come out about him is now officially off.
Oh.
Yeah, it's too bad, man. I was looking forward to seeing that. I don't know how accurate it would have been, but I still wanted to see it.
Hmm.
Yeah, he also got married again a couple weeks ago too.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I think I remember seeing that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, his third marriage.
She looks pretty young.
I guess that's how he likes it, bro. He's like Jay. He's like Jay Pritchett from Modern Family. Oh shit! It's so funny. I know Ed O'Neill more from Modern Family now than I do from Married with Children.
Oh, my God. I kind of associate him a little bit more with Married with Children.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Like that Al Bundy character is like a part of pop culture, but as a show, Modern Family, I watch it religiously. Yeah, I've watched
I
Modern
see.
Family a lot more religiously than I've watched Married with Children religiously.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So Hogan got married again, but one person who was not at his wedding was his daughter Brooke,
Hmm.
which caused like a whole bunch of people like gossiping and talking about why she wasn't there. And ended up putting out a statement saying how to protect her mental health, she decided to keep her distance from her family and like not associate with them that way for now. But she did wish him the best, though. She did say she wished him the best.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with that whole thing. I don't know if maybe there's more to it, but whatever. Who cares, really?
Yeah.
I guess because she figured that, like, we got divorced the second time and, like, him getting married to a younger chick, maybe she had a problem with that. It's possible.
Kind of reminds me of Winning Time between Jeannie Buss having a problem with his dad, getting married.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of wrestling and basketball, did you get that list I sent you last week, like comparing all the wrestlers to NBA players?
Oh my god, yeah, I wanted to yeah, thank you for reminding me about that. I saw that post and I was kind of like
That list, for the most part, was pretty accurate. I have to hand it to them. Yeah, a lot of those comparisons were spot on.
so I saw one where Stone Cold was similar to Michael Jordan. I was like, okay, I could see that because they both changed the league or company, whatever. They elevated what they were doing. I could definitely see that.
Like Michael Jordan took the NBA and Austin took WWE to heights they'd never seen before, both in the 90s.
True. Yes, I definitely could see that. And even though they're retired and all that stuff, they're still popular. Like you bring up their name, it sells. So I could definitely see that.
There was The Rock to Kobe. That one was very good, actually. The Rock to Kobe was a very interesting one.
How that Yeah, that's where I'm trying to, see like the get I want to get your understanding on it and your opinion on it.
They both had kind of that arrogance to them. They both had that. And they were both kind of the predecessors to Jordan and Austin, respectively.
Hmm.
Or like a lot of people compare the two in a sense. Kobe's considering like the top basketball player, and The Rock's considered like the top WWE superstar to a degree, but they're kind of like a step below Austin and Jordan.
I see what you mean. Who was compared to Steph Curry again?
Roman was compared to Steph Curry.
I see. Hmm.
I could see it because they kind of like both blew up and like had their runs around the same time, and they're like more of like the modern stars of their respective leagues. How like Roman's the modern star of wrestling, and Steph Curry's kind of like the modern star of the NBA.
Hmm. Okay. Who was I saw that Shawn Michaels was compared to Allen Iverson. I'm trying to. Is it
That one
because
I
of
liked a lot. That one
controversy?
I liked a lot.
Is it like the controversy behind the two, or like, or is it because that um, because you got to remember Sean had two runs. He had his first run, and he had his little mini retirement, and he came back, and his second run was just as good,
I
or
think
maybe better than his first. How is that?
I
Is
think
that somewhat similar to Allen Iverson, maybe, or?
No, I think the comparison for the two of them is both the controversy aspect of it and
Mhm.
the way they both carried themselves and the way they I guess they dressed in a sense and how they may have rubbed people the wrong way, but both
Mm,
super talented, like two of the most gifted to ever do what they did.
I see. Mm,
Like you could say what you want about their personality and the way they carry themselves, but when it came time to play ball or when it came time to wrestle, they were on one. They were not to be fucked with.
I see what you mean. Um, was there someone compared with John Cena? Maybe I wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
LeBron. Yeah, LeBron.
Okay. I get with LeBron. It's 50-50. Some people don't like him, some people do. But I said this before. I've said this before. When John Cena left, it was like, damn, I miss him. And I said the same thing for LeBron when it comes to him when he retires, that it's good. He's like that person where some people like we took this person for granted, and then when he's gone, he's going to be like, well, you know what? Damn it, I can't believe I was hating this guy. I actually miss him, right?
Yeah, exactly. That and also they've been like the two like biggest stars for their respective leagues of like the last like I would say 15 years or so. And yeah, they're both very polarizing where like a lot of people love them, but also they have like a lot of people who hate them. And they kind of like both experience that hate around the same time. Like when LeBron went to the Heat, and also when like Cena became more PG, they both like got a lot of flack and like a lot of people turning on them and like kind of went on for a long time, but eventually they won over people and earned their respect. Even if people still didn't cheer for them, they still, respected them in that regard and they still had
Respected
long
wise, you
runs.
have
So
to
I would
respectful wise, you have to respect what they bring to the game or bring to the ring. Like,
exactly.
yeah, okay, I see what you
And the
mean.
longevity for both of them at that too. And they also
Interesting.
compared Dwayne Wade to Randy Orton.
Hmm.
I could see that
Okay.
one. I get that one.
How?
Kind of like both were a step below and maybe not considered the guy because of the era they played in, where, Orton wasn't considered the guy because he was in Cena's era, and Wade wasn't considered the guy because he was in Kobe and then later LeBron's era.
Hmm.
But the funny thing is, both won titles before LeBron and Cena did.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
And both very flashy, like with Orton with the RKO and Wade with his style of playing. They were both like very flashy in that sense.
Okay.
Also, Hogan to Magic Johnson made perfect sense. That made perfect sense.
Ooh. Okay. Popular in the 80s, right?
Not just popular in the 80s, they both ran their respective leagues in the 80s. They were the faces of both
Oh
the
yeah, I
leagues
mean,
in
of
the 80s.
course. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely, of course.
And
But
the description was basically saying the Showtime Lakers were basically Hulkamania.
oh yeah. Because dude, I'm telling you, that Showtime Lakers just whoa. Just how the way the game is presented, how you gotta remember Jerry Buss did a lot, played a handful and just making well, not just necessarily making the Lakers look flashy and entertainable, but also the game of basketball. You know what I mean? The game of basketball now, it looks like this now because of the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah, and
So
you could say the same thing with Vince McMahon, what he did for WWE in the 80s. You could say the same thing about
right.
him.
Hmm. Hmm.
They should have had that
So
comparison
yeah,
on there too, but they didn't.
yeah, you're right. So I could see that comparison between Hogan and Magic. Was there anything else?
Yeah, there were a bunch of other ones. There was Bret Hart to Steve Nash. That one made perfect sense, the whole Canadian thing.
Two Canadians. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, this one was kind of weird. They did Andre the Giant to Larry Bird. I would compare Andre the Giant more to Kareem, and I would compare Larry Bird to Ric Flair. I would switch those up.
Why Ric Flair though? Because you got to remember, Ric Flair was the flashy one too, and he was like party. That wasn't Larry Bird. Larry Bird was like more blue collar.
I get it, but
Like
I get it, but I'll compare the two in the sense that they were both tough as nails. They both had great runs where they won multiple titles, and also the way like Bird was kind of a step below Magic, Flair was kind of a step below Hogan in the 80s.
okay. Hmm.
And Kareem, I would compare to Andre, obviously because of the size thing and the longevity thing. And kind of like both were the faces in the sense before, Hogan came along and Flair came. And I get, yeah, Hogan came along and Magic came along.
Hmm.
Also, a few more, I'll just dabble into a few more. Dennis Rodman, they compare to Mick Foley.
Oh, how?
I guess the toughness, I guess I would say the toughness, the hardcoreness.
Hmm. Okay.
I would compare Dennis Rodman more to Ultimate Warrior. That's the comparison I would make more.
Hmm. Interesting.
With with the crazy colors and shit and the attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Seth
Okay.
Rollins to Kevin Durant they had on there also. That was pretty interesting.
Huh. Oh, yeah. They both leave their respected teams, faction.
Both very talented, arguably two of the best of their eras, but kind of not considered the top guys also because of the era they came in.
Right.
And also two apparently who were kind of sensitive on Twitter, or at least Rollins used to be for a couple years.
Oh yeah, that is true. Well, I know he's in a good. Well, I know he's in a good mood right now though, because the Chicago Bears are winning. We're hopefully they hold on to the lead.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Rollins used to get a lot of flack a few years ago for like the way he would come off on Twitter. Like that's one of the reasons why they had to turn him heel
Yeah.
in like 2019 because like the fans were like really turning against him because of that stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but anyway, let me get into a few more. John Moxley got Draymond Green. That one was very accurate.
Ah. Okay.
And there was like one more really interesting one that kind of like, oh yeah, Shaq to the Undertaker. Perfect. That made perfect sense. Shaq to the Undertaker.
How? Okay. How?
The size thing, the dominance, the longevity, the accomplishments, both came up in the 90s and 2000s. That was like their peak eras. So makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
One more comparison I would have made was I would have compared Piper to Charles Barkley.
They never won the world title. Good hard workers.
Both talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I'll never forget on Inside the NBA one time they put Charles Barkley's face on Roddy Piper's body and that shit looked hilarious. That shit had me cracking the fuck up.
I don't remember that. I gotta look that up.
I was years ago, but I just said to myself when they put that on TV, I'm like, yo, that shit just fits. I think it was around that time when that whole controversy was happening when Raw was booked in Denver the same night an NBA playoff game was booked, and then Vince like mocked them on TV over it.
Oh, back in 2009 when they had the
Yeah.
Lakers versus the Nuggets, that was weird.
Yeah, it was around that time I think they did that. Yeah, I think it was around
That
then.
was so weird. I was like, what? That was weird.
It was very weird, but yes, one more thing. Speaking of weird, let's get into one more thing before we get out of here. Vince
Yeah.
Russo, who we never hear from enough, gave his thoughts on Cody Rhodes very recently, and he basically said that, bro, Cody Rhodes, bro, I don't get what people see in him. There's nothing special about Cody Rhodes. He's not a main eventer. The mainstream audience, bro, doesn't know, bro, who Cody Rhodes is. He's just a regular dude, bro. If he had been in the Attitude Era with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, Cody Rhodes would be a curtain jerker. Because people don't care about wrestling. They don't care about wrestling. They care about raunchy storylines. They care about the stories, the characters, bro. Leave that wrestling crap to Jim Cornette, bro. Bro, WWE is like doing the hottest business they've done in years. Cody Rhodes, even though he didn't win the title at WrestleMania, he still main evented WrestleMania, won the Royal Rumble, had a great feud with Brock, and got endorsed by Brock at the end of it. And he's like pretty much the top babyface on Raw. He's more than likely going to win the title at WrestleMania next year. How the fuck are you going to say they're not doing anything with Cody and that he's not over and that he's not popular? You hear the reactions Cody gets every week?
Yo, I love it. I get goosebumps seeing it, Kurt. Let me ask you this real quick. Okay. First of all, I am not going to take anything serious from a guy who, should I say, who pretty much played a hand in the downfall of WCW. Do you agree?
Look, I'll say this much. He definitely deserved a lot of the blame for what happened at the end of WCW, but you also have to give him a lot of credit for the stuff we saw in the Attitude Era. He did play a hand in that too.
Thank you. I know.
Gotta give him
I know. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm not discrediting on that. But you got to remember, bro, like when you're just talented and you ship off to somewhere else and you just play a hand in that downfall, dude, just the storylines. I can't even. Oh my god, the storylines that he was doing at WCW. I'm sorry. You gotta.
that was the
You're
thing.
good and you're bad.
That was the thing. In WWE, he had Vince McMahon to run his ideas through, who like kind of either shut down his bad ones or like give the thumbs up to his good ones. But when he went to WCW, he didn't have Vince McMahon to run his ideas through anymore. So his ideas that were bad and fucking terrible, they got put on TV, and look what we ended up with.
Thank you. So the point I'm trying to make, I'm not trying to take anything serious from a guy who pretty much you played a hand in the downfall of a company. Okay. Number two, what is Vince Russo doing right now?
Bro, he's on the Busted Open podcast, bro. He's on the internet. He's on YouTube. People still know the name Vince Russo. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you're anywhere in between, Vince Russo's name equals ratings, bro. Not Cody Rhodes, not Sami Zayn, not Kevin Owens, who looks like he works at a mechanic shop. Vince Russo equals interest, bro.
Interest. Still though, um, read through the lines, man. You got to read through the lines, and you gotta be smart,
The
man.
thing
Come
is,
on, like
Vince Russo's not a wrestling fan. That's the thing. He's somebody who worked in wrestling for years, and yes, he has some credibility granted for that, but he's just not he was never a wrestling fan. Like the way we're wrestling fans, and a lot of people who got into wrestling were wrestling fans, Cody Rhodes being one of them. He was just never a fan like that. That's why he comes
mhm.
off the way he comes off, and that's why people look at him the way they do and don't really take him seriously.
Right, right, right.
Him and Jim Cornette are the opposite extremes. Jim Cornette, in some ways, takes wrestling too seriously, and Vince Russo doesn't take it seriously enough.
Yeah, he does take it seriously, especially when he's wearing those weird outfits, especially the one he wore at WrestleMania 10. My God.
I know people wear wacky shit in New York, but motherfucker, even the weirdos on the subway would be staring at his ass.
Oh my
All
goodness.
right, but anyway, anything else you want to get into tonight, bro?
That's it, man. I can't wait for a Fastlane this weekend. I can't wait for Tuesday. Woo, stack war, ammunition, boy, on both sides of NXT and AEW. I can't wait for Tuesday. Can't wait for Saturday. And yeah, that's about it, man. And once all that is over, me and Kurt will bring you that news, the recap of what went down.
Indeed, we will, bro, because it's a wrestling podcast, bro. And we talk about wrestling, we talk about politics, we talk about pop culture, whatever you prefer, bro. So until next time, for John Randall, this is Kurt Cadet with another edition of the Clash of the Champions, bro. Be cool, take care, and bro, don't be an asshole in real life or social media, because that shit, bro, is for the
It's for the
birds.
birds.
Take care, bro. Have a good one, guys. Take care. God bless.